What's up? You're muted.
You
know what's great is that
because it's unplugged. He came undone.
Yeah, maybe you know what? Maybe go back out and come back in. He like flips the desk.
Now, is that we were just talking and having a good time?
Oh, you know what? Bottom left where it says mute stop cam. Is that
Dystopia tonight. Dystopia tonight.
I do a bit in my new show about how I get on this shit, and then you guys have the balls. I spent a year on Zoom trying to figure Zoom out, and then I kind of get it, and you guys go, oh, by the way, there's this other, it's Splurtle, or whatever the hell you guys do to me, and I got to go on Splurtle now and figure out how to use the different icons on Splurtle. All right, I'm good, I'm fine, I'm back. God,
that was great though. We didn't even lose anybody.
God,
that was beautiful.
Damn.
I think it increased during the silent period.
I went into Buster Keaton mode at one point, figuring that they can only say, if it's gonna just be silent, let's go for it.
Yeah. Right. We're like, this is true comedy chops time. I'm gonna do my history.
Apologies for being a moron to everybody.
It's fine, man. It took us a while to get this going too, so it's on our end. We used to have a green screen
like
that didn't work.
Yeah, but I like that you're talking to me like I'm literally in a home. And don't worry, it was bad for us too. It's hard for everybody. Splurtle doesn't work for everybody. I don't even know what I'm calling Splurtle.
if there isn't one, there should be. That'd be great. Yeah, we actually thought StreamYard would be easier than Zoom. So we were just like, yeah, it'll be StreamYard. It's one click and everyone gets used to their own individual thing, and that's it.
But you had no idea you were going to have Titus on as a guest.
No,
you realized, yeah.
That's true.
I need a crew to set it up and then sit down and they go, don't touch nothing, don't. Because what happened was I picked up my phone and I sent something and my phone went ring and then everything went off and then I was like, fuck. You know, Apple is over connected, man. Apple is
totally.
like, if I had like a testicular implant of some sort, I can never lose my testicles. You could find your testicles. You go on iPod. Sorry, I don't know what I'm talking
about. They start beeping at the wrong moment.
Yeah,
like, not now. I know where they are.
I'm in the dude. Turn your testicles off. I'm watching the
movie. See somebody about that shit. Jesus, God, be a eunuch.
Okay, all right.
No, that was great. So what I was saying before, what I was saying backstage was we met before. I met you when I was and you helped me immensely, by the way. It was you did. It was a nice, like, quick aside thing. I went to see you. You were doing your love tour. What was it? What was the stand-up tour you're doing? It was about
Love is Evil.
Love is Evil. Love is Evil, spelled EVOL.
Yeah, love backwards, right?
Yeah, love backwards. Great tour. So I got to do a set at Gotham. You happened to be there. You were doing your tour, and you were so nice. By the way, you're one of those dudes that I don't know if a lot of people know, like, but you know, you meet somebody who's famous, who's been doing it for a long time, who's just crushing the game, and you never know what they're going to be like. You're one of those guys. You were so nice to the other comics, to all of us that were there that night. You just treated us like regular, like your peers, which just meant a lot because we were, you know, not.
I would no, that's not true. Anybody who has the balls to walk up on stage, yeah, I respect comics in a way, and even from the first guy who just did his first open mic to a guy who's been doing it to Saget, because also you have to be here's how delusional and psychotic you have to be a stand-up comedy to practice stand-up comedy. You have to be like, okay, I'm going to be the most entertaining person in this room. I'm going to be the most charismatic, the funniest, and I'm going to make them agree with me every sentence. Yeah. That's serial killer shit. That's like, to have that kind of crazy confidence, you have to be like, I'm going to put the head in the freezer and nobody will find it. It's the same level of crazy. So anybody who has the balls to do it. My daughter's a musician and she's a singer-songwriter and she's in it. And I'm like, and I want to just hug her and go, you have no concept of how dark the business can be.
Yeah.
And so when I see anybody, just to get over the demons we all have to conquer just to walk on stage, And then the ones we have to deal with on stage, I respect anybody who's a comic.
That's a great way to look at it, dude, because it really felt like that stuff when you're a younger comic, for people who don't know, it kind of carries you through, because there is so much shit that when like a guy you admire is nice to you, you're like, I can go a couple more weeks. I'm going to ride this shit out. This is great.
That's nice, man.
Yeah. So I'm sitting next to you, you're sitting next to all of us, whatever, we're hanging out. And for some reason, you just picked up on that I was like distracted, struggling, texting this girl I was dating at the time that was totally not going well. It was just like not worth it, whatever. And you picked up on it like immediately, and you were just like, girlfriend? And I was like, yeah, man. And, you know, some shit's going on. She was like, I knew she was cheating, but I couldn't prove it. And I said that to you, and you're like, are you married? And I was like, no. And he goes, you know, you can just leave, right? and you said it, and it's one of those things that's obvious, but it was like I needed somebody else to be like, just get out.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh yeah,
the wisdom of an older man right there, who actually had $2.3 million in lawyers and attorneys fees. Yeah. So it's weird, man. I wrote it in Love Is Evil was 3.5 billion men on the planet, 3.5 billion women, and if you're bisexual, you have no excuse to not be happy. What are you doing? I never understood why we stayed, because I stayed with my ex for so long. Yeah. And even my new wife, she knows that, you know, I used to say that when we first got together, my new wife, I was like, hey, 3.5 billion women, whenever you get in a fight, I'd be like 3.5 billion women. She'd be like, stop fucking saying that. Because it basically meant, and I said, you have it too, 3.5 billion men. And I don't know why. Listen, man, here's the thing. I talk about this in my new show. We are all going to die, and no one's going to remember a fucking thing we did. So why are you unhappy?
Right. Exactly. That's a great point.
I had a near-death experience. My new show, Zero Side Effects. I had a near-death experience at the dentist. I have dental surgery, and he hit a nerve when he was cleaning the tooth, and my ear started buzzing. And so I complained about it as best as I could. It was like, and he was like, what? And I said, and he goes, oh, okay. And he said he's hitting a nerve that goes to my ear. So we cranked up the nitrous so I couldn't feel it, and I passed out, and I had a near-death experience. I was outside my body, looking at me on the table. I floated to space. It's in the end of the show. Yeah. I remembered I was floating above Los Angeles. I had died and become a drone, basically. And then I was in space, and I had this experience. And guys, it's the weirdest thing in my life. I could see the entire universe end to end, and the Earth was so small. I had this weird insight while I was out. None of it matters. If this is how big everything is, and we were that tiny on that fucking thing,
right?
No one matters. No one matters. I always say, like, okay, I can prove that we remember maybe 300 people throughout history, maybe,
right?
You know, that are like special. Jesus being like, you know, in the top 3, I think.
He's up there,
yeah. But like hot shower guy, like anybody who invented something that we all get into and go, oh, that guy. We need to name an airport after that guy, don't you think?
Or at least a bridge. Something.
Yeah, right. Something. A building is something.
Something we need to walk into and acquire something. Even if it's something that, you know, name the tax building after him. Something. We gotta go to the hot water guy building. That's just great. Man.
So anyway, so this new show freed me up. When I had that experience, I was right at the beginning of COVID, so I had dental surgery. I had to wait for a year and a half to get it finished. And it was bad. I had a hole in my cheek instead of my jaw, and but I really got clear that it doesn't matter. So I've kind of gotten a little freer with my stand-up. Not dirty or anything, but like I stopped worrying about, I was spending a lot of time worrying about tomorrow, anxiety about shit that never happened. No matter how much I worried about it, it never happened anyway.
Yeah.
Or being pissed about the past. And I got a lot of shit to be pissed about. So I let it go. And now I feel better.
I hear you, man. It's crazy because when you think about like worrying and shit like that, which by the way, everybody can talk like this and say, you know, like, oh, you do these kind of things. And it doesn't always, everybody's got to find their own individual thing. But I always think like, why worry about this thing? Is it going to help? I say it to my head all the time. Is it going to help? Is worrying about it going to help? Is it just going to happen? Is it out of my fucking hands? I have no idea. Right. Which, by the way, can go the opposite direction where you don't give a shit about anything, which I also dipped into too, where I'm just like, whatever happens. They're like, no, you do have control if you stop at that light. Just saying, just a heads up.
Right. All you can do is all you can do. That's what I kind of got to. And at the end of it, it's like, whatever. Nick Steeler.
How long would you say it took you to get to that place?
My whole life. I mean, it literally just happened. I got it. It's funny because when it happened in the dentist office, I went home to my wife and I said, you're not gonna believe what just happened. And I told the whole story, and I think I got the ending to my next show. And the weird thing was she wasn't okay with my insight into life and being, it literally changed my entire
Wow.
Like I changed my being. Like I'm happier now. I don't, if when she gets mad, I don't come back like I want. I'm like, what's the matter? Is there, nothing.
Yeah.
But what happened was that I it's only been a year and a half, maybe a year, and it just changed everything. So I'm better now.
Awesome,
I'm better now. I'm better now. I did have a road rage incident with my sister recently. I have this weird. I have the soul of William Wallace. I hate bullies. I fucking hate bullies,
Yeah.
and I hate anybody who's doing something for no reason. I was taking my sister who lives in Sweden to the airport. We're driving, and though I say I'm enlightened and I sound like this guy. All I did was beep at him. It was a Sunday morning. Go to the airport. The guy pulled in front of me, and I went beep. That was it. That was the entire thing. I'm going down Victory here in LA, and I'm doing like 65, and the guy's a mile behind me. Next thing I know, in this little Honda, he's doing 90 miles an hour. He catches to me, gets in front of me, slams on the brakes.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, no, wait, we're going again.
Yeah.
Beep. That's it. Beep. Not,
right.
Look, your mom. Beep. And my sister's in the car. Well, we're talking about Sweden. And so the guy pulls in front of me. So I have a Tesla, and I stomped it, went around him, and I pinned him against the curb and stopped the car, got out.
Nice.
So, yeah, so I didn't get totally insightful when it came to see. But then again, the other side is, hey, nobody's going to remember if I punch this guy in the face. Okay. So so it does kind of fit. So what happened was the dude whips out, and he has got a knife. He actually has a knife. And I'm like, are you serious, man? I go, you started all this shit, you have a knife? And my sister who gets in between me and the guy with the knife, and I say, Shannon, move. And I move her, and I walk back to the car. I go, all right, dude. I go, just quit being a pussy. He's like, fuck. I go, put the knife down. He folds the knife up, puts it in his car. All right. Nice. Well, now I gotta fight the guy. So I go over and I set up. I trained martial arts for a long time, so I set up and I'm like, okay, if we're doing this, we're doing this. And it was the weirdest thing happened. I set up on the guy. He starts moving around, and all of a sudden, cars are all around us now. And I'm looking for my light. Where's my camera? Where's my key camera? Because everybody's got their shit up. And the guy goes. And it's the weirdest thing. So I'm like, look, if you're going to pull a knife on me and you want to go, let's go.
Yeah.
And I know this is not, I know it's not normal, and I get it. But the guy just this, it's the weirdest thing. He looks me in the face because he knows we're going to fight. It's like, I'm there. Let's go.
Right.
And he goes, and he turns away and walks like 4 feet from his car. And he's just like, and I was like, I guess, and I call that a win. It's not so sorry
you
to say that
psyched him out.
I don't know what it was, man. It was the weirdest experience I've ever had with anybody. I don't know. When I did martial arts, I got punched and I got stitches, and I'm dumb enough to know I can get hit and survive. So right. I don't know. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. As I tell the story, I realize that I just gave you evidence for any court cases in the future.
It's fine. It's all white. We'll cut the clip it. Find the security cameras around that area. No, man, it's weird. Did the martial arts thing when you were on stage, when you were starting to do stand-up, did you keep that in the back of your mind? Like road gigs, hell gigs, heckler shit? Like, did you have the confidence to be like, yeah, I can fucking take anybody?
No. Well, first of all, what you learn in martial arts really quick is you can't take anybody. You learn really quick that there's always somebody better than you.
Right.
And it's so funny, but you learn to read who is and who isn't. I tell you what, I've never had to use it. I didn't take it for that. I took it because I always wanted to do it. I always, wanted. I just thought it would help with movement and stuff and fighting in movies, which I wanted to do. But I took a special kind called Muda Kwan. And Muda Kwan is basically, here's what I knew. I like, it's martial arts. People have to get like weird, like, I'm going to be a badass. Well, you're not a badass. You're just a guy that knows how to defend himself and run. That's basically what I've learned. But Muda Kwan, at one point, our master taught us this thing where you do a block, you get behind a guy, and you take your arms and you put it on his neck and you spin both your arms, and it lifts his head off his spine. And at that point, I thought, oh,
holy
I
shit.
Probably shouldn't use this. That's when I realized, oh, this could be bad. This could be bad. So I just like, it's something good to have. It makes I just have a different confidence. Here's the thing. I don't need to carry an AR-15 into a fucking Applebee's. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
I myself can defend my chili fries.
Yeah. There's the advertisement for that class though, right there. You won't need to carry your AR-15, you pussy. That's the best. I'm like,
by the way, I'm not telling that story to be badass. I was kind of trying to illustrate how I keep talking about it. I'm enlightened in this new show, and I still have that in me. I got heckled. Sure. Yeah, I do this bit of I do the new show. I do a thing called the COVID conspiracy about injecting a tracking chip. And here's what no one's done with that bit. People talk about stupid, but I actually walk it through the entire process. I go, let's take it through. And I was doing the bit, and it's so funny. This guy who on the corner of the show this last week, he was laughing as I'm getting through this bit, and the audience is howling. I'm beating the hell out of every single one of his beliefs to the point where, he went from like, ha, to by the end of the bit, he was like, and it was like, and he had the whole, he looked like he was on the way to a Civil War reenactment. So he had that kind of vibe going on. And,
with the losing side.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. He wasn't. Yeah, definitely. Good, valid point. And at one point I turned to him, I go, what's the matter now, dude? And he goes, and by the way, I was killing. I just got an applause break. And he goes, why don't you say something funny? And the audience turned on this dude like I didn't have to do anything. Wow. They were like, boo, shut up, you fucking. And it was great. It was awesome. So
that's fucking awesome.
Do you guys notice that? Because this is a Dystopia podcast. Do you guys notice that people are starting to, even the people that were quiet about the stupidity or even living in the stupidity of denial of vaccines and stuff, do you find that people are kind of quieting down about it? They're not as loud at defending about the conspiracies, and they're kind of turning like, yeah, I guess we should all get vaccinated. Have you guys noticed that at all?
A little bit here and there. I mean, I live in a shore town in New Jersey, and there's a lot of fist pumping going on.
That's all the time, though. How do you know it's different?
Yeah. They do it, and I can see the no vaccine tattoo that they just got. So I'm like, that Guido's not gonna make it. But I can say that my whole family's Guido. So, but yeah, it's just weird, man.
Your facial hair and your haircut, you could say anything. You literally. It's like Snoop using the N-word. We get it.
Yeah. That's a perfect way to put it. I'll explain it to my family like that, see if it goes over well. I'm like, Chris Titus actually made a good point. I don't know, next family reunion, aka funeral. It's the only time anybody gets together. I'll get back. I have like two things in my head at the same time. Sorry, a little ADD. It's kind of getting to that point a little bit, but not so much. Like, I feel like everybody in my circle's vaccinated, kind of everybody that I can talk to reasonably about it. Even like all the shows that I did before Omicron was a thing and everything got canceled again, I made sure it was vaxxed, and I thought I was going to have a problem with it. There was one where we were like, we needed to be all vaxxed, and the fundraiser that we had, we were just doing it for schools. I think we're like, oh, we're doing a show, let's do it for the fucking school system. And then they pulled out. And they were like, no, we're not going to we're not going to be forced to get vaccinated. And then because of that, it got into the paper, and like it sold out in a day because everybody who was vaxxed was like, we're going to fucking do it. So like, that's been cool. It's crazy. I think if you live on the internet too much though, which I comics tend to, I don't know if you're like that where you're just scrolling, but I do it. I feel especially
if you have a podcast. If you have a podcast, I'm trying to fill stuff with my podcast. The Titus podcast, by the way. Go to Christopher Titus TV on YouTube or ChristopherTitus.com and sign up. Thank you. Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you. There's my wife says that all the time. The news is on all the time because we do the Armageddon update. And at one point, it feels normal to you, and then you start talking to people out in the world. You're like, did you hear the whole thing about the inside and the economy and the Fed's gonna, and people are looking at you like, the fuck are you talking about, man? Fed? What's the interest rate right now? Like, I know more. I have a buddy, Billy Gardell. He calls me literally for his own personal Armageddon update. He'll call me like, hey, Titus, what's going on? Nah, I saw McConnell say this shit about Trump's, there was an insurrection. So where are we going with this? And he'll like, again, I'm the wrong guy, but okay, I'll give you an opinion.
That's great though. It's good to have somebody like that too. I have a couple friends and I will go back and forth and we'll talk about that kind of shit. Like, do we need to leave, evacuate? Are you getting your kids out? What's going on? One of my close friends has kids, and I feel like if he leaves, that's our when something bad's happening and all the animals leave. I feel like if he's got a kid, I'm like, oh, I don't have any kids, so I'm like, Do I need to evacuate the area?
Yeah. Hey guys, there's no more birds. It's time to go.
Exactly. But yeah, I do that thing where I live on the internet and I feel like we lost. You know what I mean? Like, here's the thing. I don't understand what anti-vaxxers are so angry about, because we never had a full lockdown. So I don't know what the fuck Bill Maher's talking about. I like Bill Maher, but I don't know what the fuck he's talking about when they're like, we had we did our lockdown, and I'm like, no, we didn't. Like, we did. You and I did, other normal people did it. But again, my shore town, like in the summer, there were bars acting like it was fucking prohibition. They were, they're protesting outside of the Applebee's bar. Like, we don't like our families and we need to get out, and they're like, oh, really? That sucks.
Yeah, we got, everybody made it extreme when it wasn't. I was like, hey, I think the most intense I was walking through Home Depot getting something, and a dude had his mask like under his lip, and I went, dude, put your fucking mask up. And the dude looked at me, and I guess that's where I started. I didn't start it, hey, would you mind? I was like, put your fucking mask up. And this was like in the middle of Delta. This is like the Delta was raging.
Right.
And the guy looks at me and goes, what? And he goes, what? And again, the stupidity of martial arts. I go, put your fucking mask up. And he looked at me again, took a beat, and it was like, fuck you, man. And he put his mask up. I was like, I'll take the fuck you, but I won't take COVID, dickhead. Come on.
Right.
I think here's the thing, Bill Maher, and there's some stuff that's gone on recently, and I think with Rogan and there's some guys that I really respect. I respect these people, what they've done. I'm not kidding. Like, Bill Maher had me on his show when I did Politically Incorrect, and I know I've done a benefit for Bill, and I've talked to Joe a bunch of times, and Joe's not an unthoughtful individual. He's really not. Corolla is genius. I think there's and I'm sure it would happen to all of us too. If someone paid us millions of dollars to have an opinion, I think at one point you start to get used to that, and it pulls you. As a comic with nothing to lose, which I kind of don't have. I mean, I have my TV show, whatever. I've got what I do. I work. People know what I'm going to say some shit that they may not make them happy, but at least it'll be what it's going to be.
Right.
If it was millions of dollars involved all the time, I may let my audience pull me towards them. And I think you have to be really conscious of that when you get to a place of that level of fame and that level of money, where you can't let your audience pull your opinion. You have to continue to pull your audience, which is what I love about Carlin. Carlin not once ever let the audience decide what he was going to do. Pryor, never once. And remember when Pryor did the New Orleans special where he gave up the N-word? He gave it up. He said, and he did a bit about giving it up. I'm never going to say it again.
Yeah.
And people kind of booed him. And he was like, no, listen up. Let me explain it to you. And I think you have to, as a performer, fame is one of the, it's what we all want, but it's one of the most dangerous things if you don't notice it.
Yes. Oh, that's a great way to put it. That's the best way I've heard put it, man, because it is it's a dicey situation where I feel like people kind of conflate different issues to try to make their point. And it's like, if you're against Rogan, you don't want free speech and you don't want long form conversation or thoughtful opinion. It's like, no, I want all of that. I like Rogan because of the long form conversations and all this shit. But like, I don't know why you can't go, I like this, but I don't agree with giving out misinformation and having, propagandist doctors, quote unquote, on your program to spout things that are going to kill people. Like we were talking about before. He has, I've said this before on the podcast, but he's got 11 million views per episode, and he does 2 a week. But by rounding it up a month, he's like 90 million viewers a month, listeners a month. I don't care if you don't think anybody's listening to you or not, or if you'd said before, you'd put it perfectly too, about I'm just a comedian or whatever it is. It doesn't matter, because those people, especially this day and age, I don't know if you've noticed this too, even on Twitter, people tend to pick celebrities or anybody with an outlet as their avatar. This guy's just like me, I'm this guy. And if this guy's wrong, that means I'm wrong. And that's a fucked up way to think.
Yeah, true that. It's also, we are, I said it before, man, if the X Games had a stupidity division, currently America would be on the podium. Fuck, man. It's just that, and here's the thing. And I would argue with Joe in the one thing he said, that I'm an idiot. Well, yeah, dude, but you have to also, you can't have that kind of money and that kind of, and not have a quote responsibility. And to equate, like we had Dr. Eric Feigelding on, and he's the guy who he's like the voice of death. Like every time something, hey Delta, hey it's over, and then he's like, Delta's coming, fuckers. He's always like the first guy to go. He just tweeted out something yesterday. He goes, okay, they're finding COVID in rats and deer in New York City. It's jumping species. That's, you know what, jumping species. There's no more birds again. But he's that guy. But at least he's a Harvard educated. He's on top of it. And then you take him, or you take Fauci, who, by the way, everybody should be thanking Fauci because he helped turn AIDS around, and we can all get laid now. Thank you, Dr. Fauci.
Yeah, exactly.
Whenever you're in a bar, I'm married, so I'm fine. But if you're in a bar looking for trim and you get some. And thank you, Dr. Fauci. You should have a tattoo. So that's why they're going to kill him. So
him and the hot water guy. They need buildings.
Yes. You just can't equate a Harvard educated virologist who's done the job for 7 different administrations to a dude who says that pomegranate juice mixed with vitamin D will cure it, and with no evidence. You can't go, well, I'm just giving opposite opinions. No, one guy's killing people and one guy's actually based on science and fact.
Yeah.
So I think that's the only the lie about that, and agreed. Rogan keeps saying it, but it's such a weird trigger to pull that. Yeah, I'm just a comedian. If you listen to me, you're stupid. Right. Yeah, you have 11 million people, and you don't say that every episode. You actually put on information like it's true.
Exactly.
And as a comic, there's a lot of dumb fucking people. Excuse my language. There's a lot of dumb people, like a lot of dumb people, and they will go with. They'll be like, Rogan said, and Rogan, by the way, he is their hero in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
The UFC stuff. He's smart. I mean, I thought his apologies were honestly. If you know Joe at all, I don't know him a lot. I've talked to him 4 or 5 times, and he's pretty thoughtful. And I thought his apologies were, and when it comes to apologies for fucking up for comics, probably by far the best we've had in the last decade. And what I thought what he said was my favorite line he said, and one that we said about the whole N-word stuff. He goes, I'm not racist, and he goes, but any white person that has to come out and say I'm not racist, they fucked up.
Yeah.
And I fucked up. I thought that was you can always hear when someone's authentic. And I think Joe's pretty authentic. I think Joe's pretty authentic.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's incredible that people are even it's always so black and white with people. No, pun intended, talking about the subject, but I hate that I just said that. So
nice.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, and I threw up white power. Holy crap. Everything just went crazy. What just happened?
And now a sponsor from the Proud Boys. But yeah, it's either like this guy's a racist or he's not a racist. And it's like, no, I think there's nuance to shit. And he was like, again, I've only met him twice when I lived out in LA, but super nice dude. And I think you can just tell like when a guy is being genuine, like he did fuck up. And I feel like, again, this is back to that shit where like you dig into people's past, which is fine. I mean, actually, I don't think it's that fine. I think it's ridiculous because I don't believe you're the same person you were today as you were a year ago or even yesterday or whatever. Yeah, or 7 years ago. Like, and I feel like whenever you do that, their go-to is like, Weinstein and Cosby. And it's like, no, those are fucking felonies. And they're in, that's like Justice Department shit, and they've handled it. I'm not talking about people. You
can't go. Rogan. Yeah, but Timothy McVeigh too. Yeah, he apologized. Rogan. Rogan. I just think there's a point, and look, the stuff he said about the N-word stuff was just. I mean, look, my opinion is it was out of line. Wouldn't have done it. The stuff he did about going to see Planet of the Apes. I mean, he even acknowledges that. But to put this information out when we have a once in 100-year pandemic that has killed 6 million people worldwide at 900,000 in our country, that's just fucking irresponsible. It's just fucking irresponsible. Yeah. And Joe's not a racist and he's not a bad guy, but it's fucking irresponsible. And,
well, like I said, I think you put it perfectly before. Like you get swept up in your audience when there's millions of dollars on the line, and that's that's a good way to put it too. Do you have any opinion on like because the Whoopi Goldberg shit too is going on too? It seems like
I thought she was good. That's another thing too is I don't understand. So she apologizes probably as clearly as cleanly, right? And we all know who Whoopi Goldberg is. She's not, she's alternative Oprah in a lot of ways. And
she's almost one of those 300 people. She's right there.
Exactly. but she's genuine and honest, and I'm a big fan. And I've done the View a couple times, and she's always great. And her apology was so clear, and they still got rid of her for 2 weeks. I'm like, so now if you apologize, you still get punished, even if you mean it. We're in a weird. I think humanity's in a weird place, man. And we're editing a lot of us out. I mean, COVID. If you look at Darwinism, man, COVID went through the weak first, weak for the elderly, and then it went through. Now it's going through the stupid. It's really going through the stupid, and then we'll see what happens next, man. But I'm. Getting rid of the stupid may help us. It may be an evolutionary shift that we need.
Yeah, it's not a real like other than the fact that we're losing work constantly. I'm not really like I'm like no, don't get vaxxed, whatever.
That was brutal. I had the best year of my life booked. We had done all these theater shows and we booked a bunch more, and then my entire career got stopped by a bat licking the taint of a Chinese raccoon, man. It's like how is that possible? Like, of all the things that could have ruined my career, that was it.
Yeah, I know. Nobody saw that fucking coming either. And also just assuming you, like, I don't know where, I was saying this the other day, like, I was coming back from LA and I was going through the country, and I got back to New York the day before they shut everything down. And I literally thought I was like,
patient zero,
because like I was with my friends, like I was in New York, and then I was like, hey, I just got back, I'm home, and then like we're all hanging out, and then the next day they were like, if you were in New York, you probably have COVID, and my friends were like, the fuck, dude, and I was like, I didn't do anything, I don't know, it's not me.
Did you get it? Did you?
No, I didn't get. I haven't gotten it yet. I haven't gotten it yet.
Did you get no? I'll tell you what. So I got vaxxed, and then I got boosted. We got boosted at the Burbank airport, which is weird. We just waited in line, and then it was just odd. It was just like, there's a table set up, and they're giving people shots. So we got boosted, and then I was like, I am bulletproof, and I went on the road. We did a theater in Hobart, Indiana, and I did a meet and greet, and 4 days later, man, it wasn't bad. I had one night of fever and then sniffles, but buddy of mine, Nils, I call him, and he just goes, he goes, you got it? Holy crap, man, how you feeling? I'm like, we did a meet and greet, and he just stopped. He's a musician. He just goes, you fucking did a meet, just screaming at me on the phone. And like, you guys, we're in a pandemic, don't you? I thought I was covered.
Yeah.
Pfizer let me down. So yeah, so I've had it. I'm boosted, had 2 shots, double vax, boosted, and I've had it. So I think I'm good for the next
6
3 months. Yeah, exactly. 6 weeks.
6 weeks of being here.
Start the clock.
I was doing a bit for a while. I'm going, you know what? At this point, if they told me once a week I had to get a shot in my eyeball, I would do it, man. Because then you would know who. I didn't know who the smart people were. It'd be all the people with the eye patches. What'd you get? I got the Pfizer. Amateur. Sorry. Thank you. I don't do that joke anymore because it's as stupid here as it is when I do it on stage.
I loved it. That's exactly what we're looking for here. Perfect. Oh God. Yeah. It's Tom, you were out for a couple of weeks though, right?
Yeah. It got me. You know what's funny? Same thing. I got totally vaxxed and everything. I avoided it for dodging and diving around it for 2 years. Right. And then I did a gig on New Year's Eve, and I feel like I remember the older gentleman who coughed near me. And then I'm like, oh, I must have it by now. I go home 2 days later, bang, got me. So,
dude, same thing. I remember the dude that walked up, and he was really meek, and he was like, he was a little bit glistening, and I was like, that guy, it's fine.
Yeah,
maybe he was nervous to meet me. That's what it is.
That was the clamminess.
And then 4 days later, I'm like, did you get? It was weird. Thank God I was vaccinated, because I don't even know, but like people that I know, I had a bunch of people that used to come to my shows. I like hung out with die. We had three people die that I knew.
I had close people too that passed away from it, so it freaked me out. You want? I'll give you a crazy story that I usually don't share.
Yay!
So John knows this story.
Yeah.
So now I have COVID, right? Whatever. I get past it. I'm fine. I'm a little bit of a hypochondriac, a little bit. So somebody had given me some gummy worms, right? So I take them in the past. I take a little worm, whatever. I'll watch a movie, laugh a lot, whatever. One night, for some reason, I ate a whole stupid worm post-COVID. I start getting these chest pains. And I'm like,
oh, no.
I'm clotting. Like in my head. Now I'm a grown-ass man going to the emergency room, and I'm like, all right, here's the situation. I ate a gummy worm. So I don't think I have anything wrong with me, but I'm going to need this EKG quick.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you were high from the gummy worm and panicked.
Yeah, you know what happened? I got like gas or something, and I guess the chest pain. But then the chest pain turns into, I think I have something in my lung. I bet you it's clotting right now. I'll give you some more backstory. So I did.
Oh
Go
my
ahead,
God!
sorry.
What a fun eulogy that would have been. He died. He loved gummy worms. Were his favorite thing, and he died doing what he wanted to do. He died doing what he wanted to do.
He died doing what he loved.
Yeah, what he loved.
Yeah. Information is so crazy. So I did a 52-week podcast with an epidemiologist. She's way smarter than me. She has degrees from Harvard, Princeton, St. John's, and Columbia. Yeah, wow. And we would just do facts, not fear. So what we did is we took in questions that you saw on social media and the news that was all bullshit, and she gave you the peer-reviewed article facts behind what they're trying to drag from. So it's funny, the knowledge in your head starts going, all right, I know the percentages are small, but you know,
when it hits, but then again, I'm not really. It's funny. I've been lucky in career, and I've been lucky in my second wife. First wife, not lucky. Second wife, great. But I'm also the guy that doesn't win the lottery unless it's the COVID lottery, and then I'm on a ventilator. You know what I mean? That's what I have that fear of, like, it's coming after me. My buddy Billy, he had just had the stomach surgery. He was really big. And he's like, this thing's hiding in the bushes. He goes, it's hiding in the bushes looking for me, man. He goes, I'm obese. He goes, it's coming for me. It's coming for me. And so he like locked himself in his house for a year and a half. It was an intense time. I'm glad it's kind of ending. Looks like the cases are dropping, unless Eric Feigl thing is good at his rat. The new rat thing is coming out now. So I don't know, man.
BA2 or whatever the fuck. That's why, that's what I'm talking about, those small windows, man, because that's what my friends are doing right now. We're like, all right, Omicron is down. There's another one coming. We'll get together on Wednesday. And then we'll never see each other. I think we'll be safe on Wednesday. That's it.
I said that. I do it on stage. I go, you guys remember that the 3-day weekend in March when it was over? And it was over for like 3. And then we were like, yes, mask off. And then Tuesday, Delta. God damn it. Yeah. And we were all back to mask. It was crazy.
Yeah. Tom was talking to me that we had you know Tony Woods, right? Yeah. So Tony was going to be in New York, and Tom's fucking gotten it ready, and I haven't gotten it yet.
I'm in my 6 weeks.
Yeah. And Tony was coming on, he was on the podcast. He tried to come on when he was on a train, and we're like, Tony, this is not going to work. It's like he's showing us nothing. He's showing us nothing. He's in the middle of nowhere, and he's like, and people are listening to him tell crazy stories with no context too, because there's people on the train next to him, and they're just like, what the fuck? So Tom's like, he's like, how do you feel about going to New York? He's like, because I've already gotten it. And I'm like, no, I can't. But I'm like, I'm jealous. I'm like, he's triple vaxxed and he got it. And I'm like, I can't fucking go. I don't want to get it, but it's going to get me eventually.
Come on, we'll go. Come on, get it. Come on, get it.
I offered to spit in his mouth when I had it. He didn't want to do it.
Man,
normally taking it. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's just fucked up, man. Some of my friends have gotten it, and they're just kind of like out there, they're like taking that window before the next variant comes in, and because I felt the same way you did. My family and I are like, more than might give it to somebody else, more than getting it and winding up in the hospital. With our luck, with our family history of just anything that can and will happen, one of us is going to die, or all of us is going to, it's going to be it.
Or all of us.
Or all of us.
Thanksgivings must be fun. We had relatives get it who are hardcore right wingers. That's the other thing, is that people keep thinking we're all divided. It's almost like it's kind of, but everybody has people in their family from both sides that they got to deal with. I wish we would just start to pay attention to that. So I had 2 relatives that are hardcore right wing, and they refused it. They went to ivermectin, and they were down for 28. And one's a personal trainer, down for 28 days. Yeah. I was down for 4, man. I had vaccinated. I was done. I had sniffles. I was down for 4 days, and it wasn't even that bad down. I just felt shitty. I had 1 fever, and then I felt shitty for 3 days, and that was it. It was over. So I'm just get vaccinated, people. If you're listening, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
For God's sakes.
It's kind of funny because it's one of those things where, like, when you hear people who are unvaccinated say what they needed to do to get better, we're like, I just threw the kitchen sink at it, everything. I'm like, weird. I took 3 shots.
Yeah, but they don't hear themselves. They go, I took the ivermectin, I did the pomegranate juice with the D3, I took the hydroxychloroquine, and then Powerful Light I'd used, and I used a lot of bleach, a little bit of bleach, and you know what, guys, it went away, and I was only sick for 63 days,
and I was right back to work.
And
exactly. Yeah, my job wasn't there anymore, but I showed up anyway. George Costanza that shit.
Yeah, they don't do the math on it. You were sick for 2 months, fucker.
Yep.
And now, and I have, look, I have mild permanent lung damage, but I got over it. I didn't need a vaccine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they don't fucking think about any of that shit. Are you like, have you been noticing the shit that has come out around this time? I feel like where I don't know if they're just getting it out of the way now, where it's like, COVID happened. Everybody's arguing in the news, all the Trump shit, and then they quietly be like, "We found a cure for AIDS," and then you'd be like, "Wait, what?" And then
did that come out?
They found they cured HIV in a rat completely. That's one of the things.
Well, they got it now. It's undetectable. They didn't get it because of the cocktail. It's undetectable in human beings that are on the program. I guess. I mean, look, they're gonna cure AIDS one day, and it's something's gonna change. I didn't know that. Here's what I say. I know what you're talking about. So it's been so crazy since Trump again. It's been crazy. In the middle of COVID, our government went, aliens exist, and we went, not now. It was like they told us they existed. No one gave a shit.
Yeah,
yeah. Everybody was just too busy looking for toilet paper.
Yeah, exactly. Aliens, blah blah. Aliens, shut up.
Yeah. Do they have toilet paper? Do they have a Target on whatever fucking planet they're from? Because mine doesn't have chicken anymore. Yeah, it is. It's fucking nuts. And even the New York Times. This is one of my favorite headlines from the New York Times is that the Pentagon admitted they have an alien vehicle, and we were like, "You want to elaborate?" And they were like, "No, but it's a vehicle." And it was just like, no one fucking paid attention. And I'm that lunatic who like I try to like taper it off because I'm excited about it. I really would love to see an alien. Yeah. I'm like one of those people that like I have to see it. I'm sure something exists in some level, but I want it. I just want instead of us fighting, it'd be nice if something crawled out of the fucking ocean to kill us once in a while. And that we can be like, that's the thing.
I always said it'd be great if they just vaporize, like if the aliens came down and just vaporized racists and assholes, because what would happen was it would tune us all up instantly. We'd be like, no, I love my fellow man. I'm good. I love my, just vaporize some people for a minute. And by the way, we're going to take over the world, aliens.
Right.
Because they obviously can take us over if they got stuff that can make right turns at 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And they obviously could just destroy us in a second. And if they just kind of send a little note, guys, guys, quit acting like dicks. And then they vaporize like 300 people on the country. You'd be like, yeah, no, that guy was, and no one liked him. It had to be people like Ted Cruz. It'd be people that no one like Rand Paul. It'd be guys. Right. Yeah. You guys. And
it would just be horrible if they did it right before Rogan made his apology. Got him.
No. But they just sent a note that just said they weren't helping. And then you go, and so, okay, that's it. We got it. Thanks, guys. We're good. We're going to help now. I don't know. I think do you guys remember a time in life growing up where the news is, because we've gotten used to the news being extreme since I go back to since Columbine in our lifetimes, man, Columbine, 9/11, the wars. I guess it was always extreme. If you think about,
I don't know. I feel like before us, like Walter Cronkite was just reporting the news. Like that was it. Like this is the real news. This is what happened.
Right.
And then it was like they flipped the switch and they're like, Kardashians are killing social media. Let's turn this around. Give them a little bit more pizzazz.
Right. Yeah.
That was it.
It always is. Yeah. It's always what they hold up to each other. It was always like a Kardashian thing, also right next to something that could obviously kill you. Do you remember? I don't know if you remember during the election. I was, all that shit was going on right in the middle of it. Bernie Sanders was leading. He was actually fucking leading the thing or whatever. And then, but CNN had a thing on the bottom that said at the same time, COVID-19 and Bernie Sanders can either be stopped. And I was like, what the fuck kind of message? Like,
that's what I noticed about Biden too. It's like we have 3.8% unemployment. The stock market was at a record, and and the economy's booming, like 6.5% growth, which is unheard of.
Yeah,
and they're like, how is Biden ever going to get this shit together?
Right. Right.
Like, what? You get? Where were you guys a year ago? I think the media's got addicted. They're really addicted to just the craziness of it. They're addicted to it now, and it goes both ways. I guess as pissed as the people were, the Trump supporters were pissed. I'm pissed when the media goes after Biden. Like, dude, he's fucking kicking ass. I mean, I do call him President Pop Pop because he really we could
started to get mad at him when he's like that.
Yeah.
It is. You're like,
why is he in his pajamas at 6 o'clock?
Yeah, I know. And on and still at the podium. Does anybody can anybody sit him down? Jesus.
But I like fired up Pop Pop too. Something like that one speech he came out. I like when he's fired up. I don't like the kind of the quiet guy.
When he called Juicy a son of a bitch, what a dumb son of a bitch. That was a great moment. That was great.
Me and my wife high-fived. It was awesome. I was like, good. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was a fucking crazy thing too. And then with the Biden stuff, I mean, like you said, like they don't concentrate on any of the good shit that's actually going on. It's always the bad shit. But it's kind of funny the way the media has kind of latched on to shifting blame to comedian. Like that's the thing. Like I think comedians are low hanging fruit for the most part when it comes to we're not the social arbiters of fucking morale or any of that shit. Half of us, So it's ridiculous. But it's kind of funny to me that like. I felt like Trump had to be going insane when when you have a guy who lies 24/7, but the one time he's telling the truth, and also because he'd be like, the media is corrupt, and people be like, oh, now he's going after journalists. He's like, guys, no, I know I lied about a lot of shit, but I've been manipulating them for years. Like I pretended to be my own agent, guys. Let me just tell you, like that had to be driving him nuts.
Yeah, also, well, you said comedians, but even the guys that think they are social warriors or aren't. I mean, Carlin. What I love about Carlin is he said what he said and didn't give a shit what you thought about it. I wasn't trying to change people or lead some of that. But you're right. When did Dave Chappelle and Joe Rogan become those guys? Like when did we become those more? They're just comics. I don't know. But then again, someone else pointed this out, and I point out throughout history. Twain, Bruce. Will Rogers, I mean, Carlin, Mort Saul, Robert Klein. I mean, there's a Moms Mabley, Pryor, Ron Williams. There's a Dick Gregory. There's a list of guys, man. And I guess if you step into the field and you're not just talking about your penis, you're gonna have to take some heat for having an opinion.
Oh, totally. Absolutely. And that's the thing. I mean, that's the comedy I leaned toward when I was younger, too. I mean, I love the goofy shit. You know what I mean? I loved comics that were silly and kind of fun on stage. But the ones that always, I think, hit hardest were like, oh, my God, I never thought of it that way. And I'm laughing. And he's fucking coming. Like, I like that kind of shit. But I mean, again, it's always like, again, we were talking about the Bill Maher stuff. I love Bill Maher. I'm not going to like, I've been a fan of his since I was a kid. I remember seeing you on Politically Incorrect. That was one of those shows that I probably shouldn't have been watching as young as I was watching, but I was like, yes. Say the C word,
I got a joke bleeped on that show.
Did you really? Holy shit!
It was a rapper that had the joke was something to the effect of when you're in a solid gold Hummer getting a Hummer from a solid gold dancer, you should probably shut up. When you're in a solid gold Hummer getting a Hummer from a solid gold dancer, you should probably shut up.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and it was like so, and Mar laughed. Mar actually did that thing what comics do when it's a good joke, and they look at you like, "That's funny. That's really funny." Like, and then I watched the thing, and it was they just kind of cut the sound. It was like, "Oh, come on,
bastards!" Oh, that sucks. And it wasn't even social media back then, so you can go back on and be like, "Here's what really I said." You know what I mean? Like you just had to live with it. Like, fuck, it was the best line ever.
It was the best line I had that night, anyways.
Oh man. Yeah, it's crazy those, but I feel like you can just say they're wrong every now and again. I used to love what Carlin used to say about, I'm paraphrasing, but he would be like, yeah, I'm just in the front row. I mean, I'm watching the show, just watching the big show. And that's a decent way to look at it too. And it's not like they can't invoke some kind of change, but again, it's people on social media picking avatars. And if you ever skew from what they believe is just, then you're falling off a pedestal. And it's like, that's such a weird way, to look at life or anybody or anything. It's unhealthy.
But don't you guys think that that's what people don't quite get? It's almost become this thing where if you are a critical thinker, that actually takes a minute. Like when Pelosi came out, people can call me a liberal all I want. And by the way, I was a Republican. I voted Republican twice in my life, and then I just started to realize, oh, you people hate people. I'm not voting for you anymore.
Yeah.
So that's what it feels like. They really do. And so, so I just start, doing my research. And then Pelosi comes out and she's like, I believe our staffers should also be able to insider trade stock legally. And I'm like, hold on, whoa, are you fucking nuts?
Exactly.
Like her husband's a trader. That's what he does. He's an investment banker. She gets all the information. My daughter's 20 and she's into music. She does. So we were having lunch and I'm explaining. I go, guy. So I said, we can't insert. If I get information from a company, I can't go buy stock or else it's insider trading. I said, but Congress can. And she goes, what do you mean? I go, well, I mean, if they get it, they know they're going to give Lockheed a contract for billions of dollars. And before I finished, she goes, they can just buy stock. I go, yep, legally. She goes, they all need to go to jail. And I was like, oh, I'm a good daddy. I am, yes. They all need to go to jail.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I know
so that we can't call each other like it's great to see every once in a while I'll have someone show up on the Armageddon update and they'll be like, I got an email today. Guy was, I supported Trump and I started listening to your podcast and boy, you used to piss me off. And in the last 3 months, I realized, wow, this guy's the biggest asshole we ever had as president. I was like, hey, welcome to the team, fucker. Welcome to the team. I think we need to get back to that. I think people I think we're tired of being partisan. I'm tired.
Me too.
I just want to get back to America.
It's all fucking pro wrestling. That's what it is. You know, after a while, when you see Pelosi come out there and she makes her fucking, speech about tax shit, you're like, what the fuck? Like it is. It's just teams. And I don't want to be on anybody's team. I just want to I want to be on whatever team makes everybody, be able to have health care and fucking live and, not have to worry about shit. That's but nobody's really.
Funny. It's not like we don't have plans worldwide that work. When they go, health care doesn't work. And you just hand them a list of 15 countries where it does. Yeah. And you're like, they don't have, by the way, their arms manufacturers don't all own ski boats and Ferraris, but we have health care. So I don't think it's a humanity thing for me. That's why I kind of changed my opinion. And we're getting way deep into this. Let's talk about penises, literally.
Let's talk.
By the way, no, my dad took my kids to see Jackass, the new Jackass movie yesterday.
Nice,
dude. We are such a base level biological being. I laugh so hard.
It's great, isn't it?
People getting smacked in the junk is the funny. I mean, honestly, I'm not proud of myself, but I was doubled over in the theater at one point when me and my son were laughing so hard. So I just want to say that let's get out of how important we are and let's talk about getting hit in the nuts.
Yes, absolutely. No, my best friend and I went to see that, and we were like, when we used to watch Jackass when we were younger, it was like fucking amazing. We were just like, this is the kind of cathartic. I love to talk about penises, but it's hard.
Yeah,
that was good. Whoever Luke is.
Yeah, it was also weird is that there's a whole crew of younger guys in there because I realized they're all like some of them are 50. I think Johnny Knox was like 53, 54.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing any of this shit. Then I thought, well, I looked up how much all the Jackass movies have made. It's like $380 million. And I'm like, for 15 million, you can staple my nuts to a board. I'm 15 million. I'm fine. You can staple my nuts to a live bull. I don't care, but let's 15 million. I guess I'm in. Am I? Do I have points on this film? Because sure, staple whatever you want to whatever.
I'm going to start that Kickstarter.
Stapling your nuts to a bull is actually the plot of City Slickers 4. So I don't know if they're doing it, man. They're making it.
Nice.
Oh God. Yeah, man. I know what you mean. You just get new nuts and shit. I'm excited because you got a new movie coming out. You're working on it now. You're shooting in May, right?
Oh, shooting in May. I got a friend of mine wrote a script called it's called Father Reaper, and it's a comedy horror movie. And they talked to a bunch of horror directors, and every meeting he had, they were like, they just had no concept of how to make it funny. And I'd worked on the script with him 2 years earlier, and he called me and he goes, listen, I know you did Special Unit. And by the way, my movie Special Unit is on Prime Video. Due to the Fairness and Disabilities Act, the LAPD has to hire 4 handicapped undercover detectives. Billy Gardell is in it. Cynthia Waters is in it, and it's really laugh out loud funny. So I did that movie, and it's kind of, and I made a school shooting funny. So these guys, there's a school shooting in Special Unit. So they called me and they're like, we want to talk to you about doing this movie. So I had a meeting with the producer, and now they're turning over a decent budget and I get to direct a horror comedy. And honestly,
cool.
Yeah, I've been constipated since they said I could do it. I don't want to. It's weird. My dad always said, do your job well, no matter what that is. And so I'm a little, I don't have any arrogance. I've been in show business too long to have arrogance about show business. I'm like, okay, well, this could go horribly wrong 1,000 different ways, and there's only a needle to thread that'll make it right, so it'll be fine. We're good.
Yeah. When you were starting out, because I felt like when I was going on auditions and stuff, I would like be really excited about the prospect of an audition, hearing that I got it, hearing that I got a call back. But then when I would actually get the thing, I'd be like, "Fuck, now I got to work," and I and it could just go like in the worst possible. Like, everything just skyrocketed after that. I'd be like,
"Yeah, no, I was called a loser my whole life, so I knew the second I got the job, I was gonna fuck it up. Pretty sure. This is gonna go horrible. I'm gonna be kicked off the set. I'm gonna be drugged from the set by security. When my first movie I did was Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
By the way, I wanted to bring that up. I fucking love that movie. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
It's a cult classic in my
it weirdly is. And the Kyoto brothers came to we have a Prince party we do every year here in the studio, they came last year, and it was really cool because it's so long since I saw those guys. But my first scene, I've never acted before. I have to drive in this car. I got this red-haired chick in the car. I have to pull up to this fence, and we're on a cliff in Santa Cruz. And I'm like, I'm there. Just give me look. This is my first thing I've ever done. You got me driving a car, and I got to jump on the Jeep, and I got to throw beers to people. I know I'm going to knock people out. I'm going to wreck the car. I'm going to hurt the girl. I know something's going to go wrong.
Right.
I pull up, and I'm nervous. I get out, and I get out of the car. I throw the beers, and I don't notice, but the car starts rolling to the fence. And it's a fence on this cliff, but I didn't know it was a fence set up it was a prop fence. It wasn't a real fence.
Holy shit.
And this is a Jeep they leased for the movie, and the fence goes brrr, and the Jeep is now hanging over this cliff, and I hear the director do this. And I look up, and 4 guys are running to me, and they grab me, they throw me out, they rip open the door, they throw the girl out, they pull the emergency brake, and everyone just does this. I see 4 grown ass men going, and then the director very calmly, all right, let's do it again. I was such a loser. That was my first experience in show business, and I've made bigger screw ups.
Oh my God. Yeah, you feel comfortable in it at a certain point where you're like, you know what? If I just get it out of the way now, guys, smooth sailing. I just need one. Give me one.
Now that I've shit the bed, let's get going on this. All right, we got this now.
All right, everybody. We can start. Bring in the real actors.
Titus has failed spectacularly. Now we can actually move on. All right, and action. Yeah, that's how it works.
Oh man, that's fucking great, dude. Well, listen, it's been. I just want to thank you for coming on because it's been.
Thanks, man, for having me on. It was fun, and I'm glad we got away from the COVID stuff. Yeah, so I'll be working some gigs coming up if I can whore them a little bit. If you don't mind,
please do. Absolutely.
I'm doing Richmond this next week, and then I'm doing Virginia Beach, Funny Bone, and then I'm going to the Denver Comedy Works, which is go to the Denver Comedy Works. It's my God, what a good club.
Absolutely.
And the new shows that I think we're gonna film Zero Side Effects in April, and then I'll be working on my next special. Yeah,
beautiful.
This is my 10th one, man.
Awesome. I got 3 more questions left that we asked.
Hold on 1 second before you ask 3 questions. I just want to say we had a ton of your fans out there, so I know people have been commenting. I want to give them a chance too. So I'm gonna have you ask the questions, but if you guys want to say something, let us know. I know Mike Rowe is out there from when you were in Kuwait. He was the head of the security detail.
Yeah,
for
Mike
the
Rowe.
USO tour.
Yeah. I meant to bring that up. Yeah, he gave you a copy of a book. He wanted me to mention to you too. He said, "Oh my goodness!"
I know he's very big. We actually did he does martial arts. He teaches children martial arts.
Hapkido book. That's what he said he gave you back in 2009, 2010.
I gotta tell you, man, those guys. When I went to Iraq. It was intense, man, in a weird way, because one night we did a show in Fallujah, which is a weird show. We did a show in Fallujah, and in the middle of the show they start sending off artillery, but they don't tell me they're going to do it. And I hear boom, and the whole fucking building goes, and no one moves. Like the audience just sits there like, and so I'm like, well, no one else is running, so okay, I keep going, boom, boom, boom. And I finally just put my hand up. I'm on stage and I go, did anyone else hear that, or am I insane? And some guy. I did a bit about it in one of the bits. Some guy just goes, "Hey, that's outgoing. Don't worry about it. We'll tell you when you need to run." They were really cool. And then so that night we had a killer show in Fallujah. And as a comic, you're like, great show. and you forget you're in a war zone. And we got onto this Osprey, the two-bladed big chopper, and we sit on one side of the comics and the handlers. And all of a sudden, it's about 11:30, and we were like, "Yeah, man, great show. We killed it in Iraq, by." And then 7 guys get on in full like dark gear, like special ops guys. They all got night vision goggles, and they sit down and they just crack open their orders, and everything got really quiet really quick because it kind of put it in perspective. Oh, we just got done with our show on midnight. We're going to get a glass of wine, and you guys are going out to save America.
Right.
Got it. So I to respect to all those guys, man. And my cousin was EOD in Raqqa. He, explosive ordnance disposal, and I know some stuff that those guys went through. It's so funny, man. We all say support the troops, but when you hear what they actually have to do, man, it's like, and they come back, and then I wish we would stop forgetting them. We talk a lot. We hold them up. The troops, we love the troops, and then they get back. The war's over, and they just fade. We forget. So don't forget, people. Don't forget.
No, absolutely, we appreciate everybody's service out there, especially the ones that are watching, and all throughout for sure. And then somebody else just wrote one of our other followers. He said, Chris Titus, what was your favorite all-time moment on the Titus show? Huge fan. I was younger and I have good memories from that time. Cheers.
Oh, Stacy Keach, man. Stacy Keach was a mother, just like literally we called him the cutter, because no matter what you gave him, you can give him a setup, he'd come in and cut a laugh out of it. We were crazy. So there's a scene we did where I had painted his car. I think a really great comic, Robert Hawkins wrote this joke in the writer's room, because I was bringing comics in. Like I get to be executive producer, so I'd go, well, hire this guy as a comic. They're like, he's not a writer. I go, oh no, he has to write to feed himself. Trust me, he's going to be funny. So that was my argument. So Stacy Keach, I painted his car, and he got busted for drunk driving, and he said, and he goes, this car got me busted. I go, well, maybe you got busted for drunk driving because you were out driving drunk. And he goes, okay, that's a little laugh. Stacy goes, no, driving this car, I'm like a cops look at this car, I'm like a black guy driving a powdered donut. And like, it was weird because the audience, it was like they laughed, and then they thought, oh my God, it's racist, and they realized, no, it's about cops hating black people. And then they laughed again, and they laughed again, and then at one point, we did an outtake of it, because Stacy is just looking, he stayed pissed. No one let on that the joke had happened, but the audience wouldn't stop laughing. So at one point, it just kept going on, and I finally just looked at my watch and I walked off the set, because he would just drop bombs. By the way, during COVID, we did 2 more episodes of Titus.
You did?
Yeah. We had my soundstage, and I was like, what the hell are we going to do? I can't work. Because here's how comedy works in a pandemic. I spew virus on the audience, and if I do my job well, and I do, they spew virus back on me. So it's just a happy petri dish with alcohol. So I said, what if we did? And I called all the actors. I said, guys, if I wrote an episode, if I wrote a final finale episode of Titus, would you guys do it? And I told them I'd pay them, and they said, hell yeah. So I got Stacy, and I got Jack Ward, and I got Cynthia Watros, and I got David Shatraw. And if you go to my website, ChristopherTitus.com, I had to pay the actors and stuff, but we did it as a live stream, and it came out awesome. Great. There's 2 more episodes. It was going to be 1 episode, but it ended up being 44 minutes long, which is 2 episodes. So there's 2 episodes of finale where we wrap the episode up, and there's some stuff that's surprising in it. And Stacy Keach, you're going to be stunned because he didn't want to go. He's like 80 and he didn't want to get COVID. So the way we got him in the show, you're going to be blown away.
So I can't wait, man. I'm going to check that out. Absolutely.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. All right, so 3 questions. We want to do that now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. 3 questions, rapid fire. Not even. But if you were younger, if you could go back in time and talk to your younger self, what kind of advice would you give yourself that would help you today?
There's going to be a meeting with a Fox executive sometime in the future. Shut the fuck up. That's
beautiful.
What I would say. Yeah.
The second question is, what had to end in your life, good or bad, that led you to where you are today?
Wow, what had to end in my life? I stopped drinking when I was 17. I fell into a bonfire. I'm sensing. I'm 41. I got, I can hear red wine and stuff now, but from 17 to 41, I didn't drink alcohol because my mom was mentally alcoholic and my father was an abusive alcoholic. So man, do I have the genes. Oh yeah. my liver is Teflon.
Right.
So I had to fall into bonfire. I had to quit, and that was a bad thing, but it changed everything because I realized that was another moment where I had this moment where, as a doctor, was scrubbing because I fell into a bonfire, burned up.
Yeah.
And he had to clean the slough as the skin sloughed off my hands. He said to me, he goes, what happened? I said, I fell in the fire and I screamed. He goes, when you screamed, did you breathe in? And I go, no, I screamed. And he goes, good, because if you'd have breathed, then you would have died. Your lungs would have collapsed and you'd have died, because I was in the fire. And so he changed my life in that one sentence, and I started doing comedy the next year. I figured I almost died. What do I got to lose?
Yeah, man. Wow. That's fucking awesome.
Do these answers need to be this long? Do I need to actually?
No, you're great.
No, they're good. You're nailing it.
Perfect.
I feel like you asked me a question and then I do a TED talk. It's not exactly.
The lights dim, a screen comes up from behind him. We're like, how the fuck did he know? Holy shit, this is great.
And he's got a PowerPoint.
People applauding. We're like, oh, it's wild. And the last question is my favorite question because it has to do theme of the show. If this was a genuine dystopia, aliens, zombies, meteor, the whole thing, everything on fire, what would be your epic death? How would you want to go out?
Oh man. I think my favorite dystopian death is in Fury Road, when the guy on the motorcycle, he like does a jump and he's like 60 feet in the air and then he explodes. That's a great way. It's just like a grenaded bike at 60 feet in the air. Just boom. I'd like to die as a firework. Let's do it like that.
While Katy Perry plays in the background.
No, don't make it weird.
Yeah. In a geisha outfit, so Twitter's still like, everyone's dying and they're like, this is unbelievable.
Guys, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it, man.
Thanks for coming on, man. It was a blast.
Awesome,
good to see you again.
And Dystopia, man, it's such a great name because between the aliens, we went to Costco. My wife and I said this. We were in Costco and there was a voice. We had to wait outside during the pandemic. And I was like, by the way, please get your, and it was the voice from every fucking movie that we've ever seen as children telling us to wait out. We will allow so many people in at a time, you know. Crazy.
Please get your COVID-19.
Guys, some of these are hard to do and they're not fun. Yours is really fun. I appreciate it. Peace.
Thank you so much, man.
Such a pleasure. Have a great one, man.
Bye.
Dystopia tonight.